All right, chapter 2 in my book called Alx Proverbs. Based on some free information on my still live website called digitalramen.net, and basically it was a marketing consultant agency that I tried running, got no customers, did free work for about 5 businesses, well, 5 to 7 businesses, including my own little car business and agendas, including this digital ramen thing. So, but chapter 2 of my book is in my book called Alx Proverbs is seek growth. So chapter 1 was make a decision, wake up having decided that you will do whatever it takes to achieve what you want to achieve. Chapter 2 talks about seek growth. It says there's a huge gap in the last statement. We don't know how. We've never been rich, so we don't know how to do it. The personal search for growth must begin. What did they say? If you can identify the problem, then the problem is halfway solved. And that's the thing. So it's pretty easy to just be like, I want to be rich, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be fit, I want to have all the cars and 7 wives and this and that. But if we, like, hypothetical cloud of an idea, right? But if we were to narrow down a specific decision into a point written about and defined, we can identify what this much of a problem is, right? Whereas it's just a huge thing. And so the next is we would also acknowledge that we don't know what we don't know. However, according to some old wisdom, aka in the Bible, there's a statement that says there's nothing new under the sun, which means none of our problems, none of our events, nothing that is happening today is something that has never happened before, to a large degree, right? Drones and spaceships and this and that, I'm sure it didn't happen 2,000 years ago. But as far as the human problems, human to human interaction, it's all the same. How we feel, how we are connected to each other, God, our family, our love life, the humanness of it. There's nothing new about it. Anyways, so the chapter talks about seek growth. As adults, especially with a college education, I meet so many ignorant people, and it's not that, I mean, some people are just like straight up ignorant, and it's really hard to communicate with them. So the smartest thing to do is not, right? To avoid them, so that you waste yourself some time and the trouble and the headaches. But some people are just ill-informed. There's especially with all of this content, right? There are some play on words type of things, to where a small twist in the message with a few words that sound pretty close to each other but mean slightly different, they translate differently to different languages, but also different mentalities. And so it's hard to realize that there's a lot, or it's hard to acknowledge that there's a lot that we don't know, which is why it's important to make a decision. And part of the decision is, I will do whatever it takes to figure this out. Next is, we got to figure it out. And so, what does it say? We don't know how. We've never been rich, so we don't know how to do it. So one of the things that I can talk about as a fellow brokey is, there's a different mentality of a person that only has $30 to his name, and then the person who has $15,000 in his bank account and a whole bunch of bills and stuff that are on autopilot or taken care of and figured out. So for us $30 people to just all of a sudden want $50 million like I claim I want, that's a pretty big jump. We don't know how to We don't know how to own $200. I don't know what to do with $1,000. I don't know what to do, how much to give away if I have $100,000 just dropped into my lap. What do I do with it, right? And it wouldn't be too... Anyways, there are self-destructive ways. And that's the thing. So unless we develop some characteristics that it takes to have and keep nice things, we can't have and keep nice things, even if somebody offered it to us, right? So seek growth. That's a small part of the equation that we have to acknowledge and work with that information. But don't be discouraged, because this is not set in stone. This is just something to keep in consideration, but it's also what I've discovered that I must do. Whoa, 6 minutes. Okay, let me wrap this up. So I'm sure the rest of the chapters will kind of go into it. I'm sorry, I'm twitching. I don't know what to do with this camera stuff right now. But yeah, see growth, stay curious, ask the questions, and I'm sure there's a point in there, but we just don't know what we don't know, and we've never been to where we need to go. So we can find the people who have walked the walk. We can get trainers who have achieved what we want. We can speak with relationship guides and successful married people, blah blah blah, or successful dads who are loved by their parents or are not avoided as adults. Anyway, 7 minutes is up. This is chapter 2 of Alx Proverbs. I got a new shirt, so it feels like I did it in a different day. But let's see if we can just pump out like 5 chapters a day. Well, I only have two days on the weekend, so let's see. I might have to make 14 videos today, 14 videos tomorrow. Wouldn't that be kind of crazy?